I was there, WW1. Bang, bang, everyone men began marching like vicious tides crashing, banging the land. We had arrived. I had arrived. It wasn't a pleasant surprise. At first I was up front line. At first it didn't seem that bad, but as they began to fight back, that was when the war had truly begun. Our weapons were clanging under the spit-filled sky. This was not going to turn out as expected. Brap, 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 boom! Our bombs and bullets battering and beating against our enemy under the sunless sky. A storm of arrows were whooshing and zooming through the dark, nebulous sky, and I knew this was the end. Beautiful poppies as they are black and red. War is all about people dying. Men lying on the floor dead. War is all about relatives crying. Bombs booming on the ground. Poppies pop all around. Every death is a birth. Bodies dropping. Poppies awakening. Life is rolling, but sadly is taken. Remember the 11th of November. It reminds us of the men that are dead. To free them is what they said. There was a battle on the edge of death, where men died in pride but suffered their last breath. Remember them all on Remembrance Day, at the memorial of flowers and leaves we do.
We will remember war is like a game with enemies and heroes, a winner and a loser. War is terrifying, not knowing when you're going to die. War is horrifying like a ravening beast. The taste of death grows stronger and stronger. We heard the screaming from the soldiers, the cars crashing into trees, terrifying tanks speeding rapidly through the torturing bloodshed, gun shooting, the smell of gas burnt, quick buzz, gas heading our way. Our shining swords were clinging and clashing under the dark misty sky. His sword rose, I fell. Hearts pounding and bodies dropping, poppies awakened. Life is rewarding but sad. While the dead bodies lay from WW1, scarlet poppies grew. Red poppies can glow from the forgotten field of London. Remember the 11th of November, and never forget the brave and bold soldiers who risked their life for our country. Don't ever forget.
Remember the lost, walking disgusted in the damp mud, working as hard as they can. Bombs and gunshots crash through the men. Idle hopes like empty shadows, cruel Germans attacking, soldiers are left on the floor. Acid killing the innocent soldiers, horrified, petrified, annoyed, we are losing hope. Tanks speeding heavily towards the battlefield, guns firing in the hearts of the soldiers, wind blowing the airy gas, horses running to save lives, buildings collapsing frantically, the guns were roaring without a pause for breath. The cries and whimpering of the lost souls, poppies proudly awaken as the relatives cry for hope. Lives vanish in a heartbeat. Bodies drown in the watery thick ground. Every death is a birth to people that kill innocents. I was happy to see a bit of brightness, and that's why poppies grow. Remember the soldiers that died for us, that killed for and watched companions suffer. Be grateful for what you have, and peacefully live your lives you have. We wear poppies to remember the soldiers that are now in their graves, still remembering the torture they had. We will remember them.
The Great War. In the war, brave and strong men marched in the trenches. War was such a taste of death for the men who fought and died for their countries. There were in the scary scene, rifles blown up in the enemies, and the brave soldiers were just a paper on the floor. And the guns which cut the trees sounds like a kid who cries. A storm of arrows buzzing through the blue-black sky. Boom, boom, the bomb destroys the airplanes. This is how people dies. Every day is an uphill battle. See if red poppies in a simple fall. Heads pounding, bodies dropping. Life is rewarding but sadly taken. Red poppies go as fast as a heartbeat from the forgetting fields of lands. Remember the 11th of November, beautiful poppies as they are red. It reminds us for the men who are dead. Also remember who survived. Right now they are in arrest. Remember them all in the Remembrance Day.
War is a ravenous beast. War is a bloody skeleton. War is a leech on our vein. War is a bullet and stinging us. Put an end to war now. Battle cries deafening our ears. We limp on bloodshot legs. A blizzard of arrows thrown into the sky. A windstorm of gunshot. The hollow winds push us back. Put an end to war now. We wear a ruby red poppy with pride as we march down the street with pride to remember those who bravely died. Remember them on Remembrance Day at the memorial of we do lay. Put an end to war now.
War was the most scariest and some of the most dangerous, revenging beasts. There were lots of guns and wanted to kill people. It was a terrifying, cold-blooded war. They wanted to save their country from complete destruction. The terrifying blood with which lenched through our veins. When the first shot began, blood surged through the air. The sky was that scared it turned Korean black. There were a bunch of people crying, guns that squatted in a row like savage sheep. The soldiers were stamping their feet while marching through the cold river. Mercy. Every day is an uphill battle, killing and shooting. All the soldiers rise up their crystals of you can smell chaos appearing where the battlefield is. It was really, really scary. The commander screamed. The sea was red poppies as a symbol of hope. Every day when poppies grow, they remind me of the brave soldiers. They risked their lives to save their country from being destroyed.
Remember the 11th of November, the end of war came and as men celebrating peace and silence, the war was a dangerous place. The enemies charged down at us like beastly buffaloes, their spears glinted wickedly. We were afraid. Their feet stamped as they roared at us. We were battering and beating against our enemy under the sunless sky. A blizzard of arrows were buzzing and fizzing through the black sky. Clash! Our swords were clicking and clashing under the cheering sky. Men screaming and screeching as the ground became slippery with sludge. Bombs everywhere. Fire! Our commander shouted. Kaboom! Fire dropping from the sky. Gunpowder dropping down from the trenches. Men shouting, gas attack! They never knew what to do. Remember, the 11th of November.
The Great War. The sky was carrion black, a river of men marching like a tide. Idle hopes like empty shadows. Silence reached its proper match. Kaboom! The first bomb was launched. A jet of blood surged into the air. The guns squatted in a row like a savage sheep. The taste of blood was floating through the air. Our weapons were clanging and clashing. The guns screamed as they exploded. Kabam! The battle was heart-thumping. The arrows sizzled and sizzed across the air. His sword rose, I fell. Our men were wailing and we couldn't do. Swords were ringing against each other. I hope the war will end. Bodies were dropping in the dry yellow corn of summer. These scarlet red poppies resemble the fallen. Life vanishes in a heartbeat. Red poppies makes hope when hope comes alive.
Remembering the soldiers, war is a bloody skeleton where the brave soldiers got injured in the deep dark trenches, walking through the dirty muddy puddles to get to the battlefield. The gas gets to the soldiers, the gas masks are on. The sky was Korean black, buildings collapsing, the sound of guns roaring, the sound of grenades boom, the sound of prime, terrifying tanks speeding through the torturing bloodshed trenches, arrows zipping and hissing through the black polluted sky. Ambulances were rushing to the battlefield. A sea of red poppies, a symbol of hope. Great poppies lay in heaps like bodies falling in vain assault. Every death is a birth, scarlet poppies grow. Remember the soldiers that died for us, poppies grow for them. To remember them, we all have a 2-minute silence. We also buy poppies. Just remember what they did for us. Remember.
The war was a teeth in our veins, the shells flying past them, and walls of cruel teeth that grinned at them, stained their enemies under the sunless sky. A storm of arrows buzzing and fuzzing through. The battle was heart-thumping. Terrified, horrified, petrified, they all stand together so they can remember the special people that have died. They charged at the enemy's mansions of steel. They charged upon them like beastly buffaloes, wanton blood spattered from their open wounds. Suddenly gas came crawling towards them. Gas, quick boys. They rapidly put on their gas masks, but suddenly the gas went. The soldiers' graves were full of poppies. Then they finally won the war. They put down their guns, knives, swords. For them, the poppies meant hope and a new life for the sadly dead soldiers. But now people come out of their houses on Remembrance Day, so they can sing Remember, Remember the 11th of November. Our beautiful poppies are red, it reminds us of the men that are dead. Or if you go to see the Queen on Remembrance Day, she'll throw 200 poppies on the floor. On every Remembrance Day, we will remember them.